I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is a reading from Shiny Pretty Gothic, book 3 in the Do the Wrong Thing series. Previously in Shiny Pretty Gothic, Ava met the girlfriend of a famous performance artist, attended an art film that she could barely afford, and lastly lent Emmett a library book which he refused to return. Note that this is the second time through this book. There are edits, but as I prep books for publishing, I'm not writing new material. Chapter shift. A party with Michelle's friends in a cold, grungy apartment filled with people younger than me wearing jeans and t-shirts. No dyed hair or all black ensembles. No shaved heads. The fresh-faced girls with their long, cascading hair smile in that immediate but fake manner I hate. A boy walks in, making his way through the crowd, stopping to say a few words to groups of people here and there. He's like a politician or a movie star, except for a shyness that dissipates as the girls swarm around him. Tall and skinny, with abundant black curls cascading past his shoulders, he wears bell-bottoms with a matching suit jacket. I can tell he's not dressing to be different, like me with my 70s clothes. Auden, that's his name, I'll learn shortly, is happy, not defiant. People who wish the 60s never ended exist, while no one longs for the 70s. Yes, he says, dark eyes twinkling when I ask. I'm named after the poet. Mr. James only hires models with big tits. I smile. It's not aimed at me because my tits aren't big. Still, it's a message for whoever was supposed to be here. I'm a last-minute fill-in. Willem called me and asked if I wanted the gig. He says that if I can get my foot in the door, there's a ton of well-paid work at Affinitas University. The teacher, Mr. James, rushes in 10 minutes late, sees the blackboard and apologizes profusely. The class titters. Are you ready? He asks me when he's done erasing the board. I nod. I expected a short lesson or check-in or even a smile of warmth from Mr. James. But no, he doesn't even ask my name. I take my first pose and hear the familiar shh, shh of charcoals on paper. I notice the classroom odors of chalk and orange peel. The room lacks the ambiance of the artist studios and small dedicated art schools I'm used to. In fact, if it weren't for the students with their oversized sweaters, messy hair, stubble on the boys, and dark eyeliner on the girls, this environment would be the same as the sterile one from the Art for Non-Art Majors course I took at Birmingham U last year. I'm used to being appreciated when I model, so I have no fluidity when taking poses like I usually do. At break time, I don't walk around. It's difficult to get into Affinities' art program. Though it's not as prestigious as the Concord School of Art, you still have to be accepted. These students who I'm modeling for, all around my age, have been accepted. I hope I get into Finis's art program. I filled out the form Willem gave me and paid the admissions fee. Mr. James' cold eyes, he and all these students. Maybe it's disregard, not disgust, that they feel for me. Like I'm not as good as they are because I have to take off my clothes for money and haven't been accepted. Haven't been accepted yet. I paid the $65 for tender buttons. Emmett is never home when I call, and since I barely go clubbing anymore, I never see him. I'd do it if I could, says Bradley. Bradley is the brother of the poet Auden and a friend of Michelle's roommate Neil. Auden is not a poet, by the way. Well, not with words. He's a high-end. He travels to meet bands like the Jefferson Starship Airplane. What are they called now? Mushrooms, acid, hash in all its forms, honey and cherry oil, black, brown, blonde. I'm trying to be poetic here. He's the drug dealer. Michelle, Neil, Bradley, and I drink wine around my dining room table. Girls are lucky, Bradley says, shaking his head and looking from Michelle to me. You don't have to work, and you can make money simply by taking your clothes off and posing naked. I see the sadness on his pimply face. He's got a long nose and scrawny frame. His Adam's apple bobs when he speaks. He doesn't know what he's talking about. If he was the kind of guy people wanted to see naked, he'd understand. But if people won't let you do anything else, it's unfair, I say. Why would you want to work? If I could do something as easy as standing around naked to make a living, I'd do it. Because you're a sinner then, I think. But I don't believe in sins anymore because people won't respect you because What do I have against porn? A bitter wind blows as I walk from St. Therese Metro to the address I was given. The area is all low tin and concrete buildings with few windows. Leduc Manufacturing, Gupta Imports. Here it is. Daniel 10 Photography. I ring the doorbell. The room is a gray, polished cement box with a wide oblong window to the left. Some kind of control room, I guess. Behind me is a spool of vaguely cloudish material. In front, Daniel 10, I guess. I take off my clothes and sit on a stool, stare at the man through mascaraed eyes, tears welling up. I fight them back and twist my bright red lips into a smile. When he's done, he gives me $100. Certainly more, faster than art modeling. I exit back into the wind, so depressed I'm almost suicidal. I've never been so desperate for the bustle of the village and the warmth of my home. Bradley is wrong. It's humiliating, selling your naked body for sex. That's why I won't get married either. Hi, guys, Beth says. Hey, says Wally. Wow, he adds, looking around the room. Beth smiles, but not in a particularly warm way. It's like she's riding the line between knowing us and being professional. She barely acknowledges me as I pass her my coat. About a month ago, she went through a violent transformation. She put away her Jean Armatrading and Susan Vega records and started blasting Cocteau Twins and Kate Bush. She bought new clothes and started backcombing her hair and applying layers of makeup. I think she looks like Cruella de Vil. She'll never make it to waitress or bartender. She's angular and chunky, not sweet and flirtatious. The mid-thigh dress she wears is orange, red, and yellow in a psychedelic pattern. Looks a lot like the white and tan one I wore in Wally's hair show, except the material is thick, soft cotton instead of thin, shiny polyester. It intimidates me. I've seen its price tag. I guess you need expensive dresses to coat check in a nightclub like this. Wally, Jean, Mark, and I enter the main space. A bar lines the back wall, and the dance floor to our left is bathed in subtle golden light that reflects off mirrored columns. Clusters of round, upholstered chairs facing short, circular tables dot the remainder of the room, and booths, round like the chairs and each enclosing another short, circular table, line the walls. Aside from the employees and another group of awkward-looking people, we're the only ones here. I totter to the bar on my green platforms in my uber bright red, yellow, and green A-line Mini. Here, though, it's like that fancy restaurant. I can tell that there will be many colorful, sexy dresses later, like Beth's, but they'll all cost $100 instead of the 10 mine did. And vodka and orange, please. I don't order beer. $8, says the bartender, putting a tall, narrow glass in front of me. I try not to flinch as I hand him my money. Wally, Jean, Mark, and I don't sit down. I'm not the only one who's intimidated. Fuck. Sometimes writing is so hard. I've written this piece 6 times now. Scratch that, 20. I wouldn't even include it, except that I've never danced this way before. It's a fluke, and I'm at a mostly empty goth club with Wally and Jean on a weekday afternoon. It's in the English part of Relise, near 2 universities, one being Affinitas, where I hope I'll be going in the fall. The club is not as cool as Fantastique or the other ones in and around the village, and I'm wearing that white, aqua, and green pantsuit with the angelfish legs. I wore that pantsuit a lot. A song that hit peak popularity about 6 months ago comes on. This is the worst possible time to play it. If you wait a year, you can pretend you're a big fan of the song, but half a year later merely means you're out of fashion, behind, slow. But I love this song. 9 minutes of hypnotic, ominous dirge and repressed, restrained vocals. I've never danced to Bela Lugosi's Dead. Never even wanted to admit that I liked it, because everyone else did. I venture onto the empty dance floor. A couple of leather-clad, earringed, and head-shaved goths glance over. I begin whirling like Michelle's hippie friends, closing my eyes. I stop to kick off my sandals, go back to whirling, feeling my hair lift from my head like a bird taking flight. I stomp on the plywood, windmilling my arms and whipping my bird hair around. Tap on the shoulder. Come on, we're leaving. Wally says, ducking so I don't hit him with my arm. He smiles, but not as forgivingly as usual.